For question number 6, it says the amount of money M in dollars Paul earns can be represented by the equation M equals 12.5 H plus 11, where H is the number of hours Paul works. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 11? So let's look at this without even having to do any advanced math in this. We want to read through the word problem again. I always recommend that you read through it once and then read through it again. And that second time, once you read through it, start making notes. So it says the amount of money M in dollars Paul earns can be represented by the equation. And we see this equation right here. M equals 12.5 H or times H plus 11. So we're looking at that. And we need to find out what that number 11 is. So just going through each one of the options that they give us. In option A, it says the amount of money in dollars Paul earns each hour. So just looking at this equation, we say M equals 12.5 H plus 11. So let's say, since H is the number of hours worked, let's say Paul worked 2 hours. So we would just plug that number 2 into the equation. So excuse my terrible writing, but that's 12.5. And then times H plus 11. So if they work 2 hours, if Paul worked 2 hours, let me erase that so you can see it. If Paul worked 2 hours, within 2 hours, since 12.5 times 2 is 25, well, that rate is going to change. So there's no way that the amount of money in dollars earned or Paul earns each hour that 11 represented, because that number will change how much Paul earns. It'll change every time he works more hours. So we can just get rid of that. All right, so for the next one, it's asking us, it's saying for option B, it's saying the amount of money in dollars Paul earns after working for 8 hours. So that's kind of like the same thing with option A, where it's saying, okay, so it's amount of money Paul makes after working a certain amount of hours. We already said that if the number of hours changes, that value 11 is going to change as well, or the money Paul earned. So we can get rid of B. C, the total amount of money in dollars Paul earns after working 1 hour. That's kind of the same thing. So if Paul works 1 hour, he's going to earn 1250 times 1 plus 11. So he's going to earn 1250 because we multiply 1 times 12.5 plus 11. So Paul going to earn after 1 hour of work. And if Paul worked 2 hours, he's going to earn another $12.50. So C does not work for us either. So let me go ahead and X out C and get rid of these notes down here that I wrote. So the only option that we really have available is the option D, and it is exactly that. It's the amount of money that Paul's going to earn in addition to an hourly rate. So if Paul worked 2 hours again, if Paul works 2 hours, so that'd be 1250 times 2 plus 11. So that would be 25 plus 11 equals 36. If Paul worked 1 hour, 1250 times 1 plus 12 or plus 11, that's 1250 plus 11. That would give us 23.50. So as you can see, it is the amount of money that Paul's going to earn in addition to whatever the hourly wage is. So the answer would be D. In question number 7, it says that the table gives the population of the 5 largest countries in the European Union in the year 2014. Which of the following is the closest mean population of these countries? So I'm going to go ahead and underline this. So we can calculate quite a few things or come up with a couple of different things to answer. Not just the mean, but I'm going to do each one individually so we can come up with the mean, the mode, which is the number that appears the most. We have the median, and we have the range. And excuse my bad handwriting. So we're going to find the mean last. I want to go through each one of these individually, so just in case it asks you something different on your Accuplacer test, you'll know how to solve it. So the first thing we're going to solve for is the mode. And when you're solving for the mode, you're trying to figure out if any numbers duplicate in the sample size that you receive. So the easiest way to figure it out is you can just look at it. You can see that each number appears once, but I'm going to go ahead and write each number down here at the bottom because this is going to help me calculate the mean, median, and the range. So we got 46.5, and I'm putting these in order from the smallest value to the largest. 60.8, we got 64.3, 65.9, and we have 80.8. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate the mode. So again, 60.5 appears once, 80.8 appears once, 60.8 appears once, 46.5 appears once, and 64.3 appears once. So there's no modes here. So the mode would be 0. So mode is 0 because no number appears more than once. So mode is 0. Mode equals 0. So now I'm going to go ahead and delete this. The next number I'm going to calculate is the range. And the range is the largest number minus the smallest number. All right, that's how you calculate the range. So we're going to take the largest number, and this is why you want to put the numbers in order from smallest to largest, because we see that we have 80.8, and we're going to subtract 46.5 from it. And that's going to give us 3, 7, carry 1, that's 4, and then we have 3. So our range is 34.3. All right, so that's the range, but it didn't ask us this, but I'm just going to calculate this just in case you get asked this on your Accuplacer test. All right, the next number we're going to calculate is going to be the median. So the median, what you do is you put the numbers in order from smallest to largest, and you go this, and you just X out until you come up with the number in the middle. So we have 5 numbers. There's one number in the middle, so our median is 64.3. The reason why you would use a median is if there's an outlier. So meaning that if there's a number that's way out of place as far as the numbers. So if we have 46.5, next number 60.3, 64.3, 65.9, 80.8. And if the next number is like 200, it would really throw off the mean or the average. So when you have numbers that are like outliers, that's where you want to use the median. So our median is 64.3. Now let's get to the question that we're being asked as far as what to solve for this. So we found out what our median is, we found out what our mode is, we found out what the range is. So now we're going to calculate the mean. So the mean is pretty much the average. And to calculate the average, you have to add up all of the numbers and then divide them by the total. So we have a total of 5 numbers. So we're going to do, and we don't really need it to be in order, 64.9 plus, and maybe it'd be helpful just in case you don't have a calculator, I am going to add these up one by one. So 65.9 plus 80.8, that's 17, 6, 14. So we got rid of those two numbers, plus 60.8, 15, carry the 1, that's 7, 10, carry the 1, that's 2. All right, so we're at 207.5. So next, I am going to take the next number, and you might get a calculator for this in your Accuplacer test, but if you don't, I'm just showing you how to do this. So next, we're going to take that 2.207.50 plus 46.5 gives us 10, 14, 5, 254. And then we're going to add 64.3. That's going to give us 3, 8, 11, 3. So the total number, the total sum of all 5 of those numbers is 318.3. All right, so now we're going to divide 318.3 by 318.3 by 5. So do that. 318.3. Let me get rid of this number down here. All right, 5 can't go into 3, so we put a 0 over there. 5 can go into 31 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. We're going to subtract 30 from 31 from 30 from 31. All right, we're just doing long division right now. All right, 5 can go into 18 3 times. And 3 times 5 is 15. Leaves us 3. And 5 can go into 33 6 times. So there's a decimal right there. So we're going to do 6. And that 6 times 5 is 30. So, and then, so what's going to happen is we're going to keep getting a 3 because we can add a 0, bring that down, and 5 goes into 30. Well, it looks like we're not going to get, but that ends up being 63.67 million. And if you round up, it's going to be 63.7. So the answer is C, not D. It's C. In question number 8, it asks us which of the following fractions is equivalent to -6 minus -9 over 8. So when you're adding or subtracting numbers that have different signs, what you want to do is whatever the largest number is of that equation or that question, that's what the sign is going to end up being. So before we get into this one, I'm just going to show you what I mean. So if you have -3 plus 4, 4 is the biggest number between these two. So whatever the biggest number is, that's the sign that's going to follow. So for this one, you see that it's going to be a positive, and then you just subtract 3 from 4, and that's going to give you a +1. So if we decided to switch the numbers and say 3 minus 4, the largest number is still 4, and it's a -4, so it's whatever the answer is going to be, that is what the sign is going to be. So 3 minus 4 is going to be -1. So that's how you figure that out. So let's go ahead and do our problem here. So we have -6. You have a minus there, but in parentheses, you have a -9. So that turns the -9 into a positive number, minus. So that turns it into a +9 all over 8. And then you just add the numbers that are in the numerator. The denominator stays the same. So the largest number is 9. So we're going to, whatever, that 9 is positive. So the answer is going to be positive. So 6 minus 9 is 3. And you see that it's a positive number. So our answer is B. All right, in question number 9, it says water runs from a pump at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. At this rate, how long will it take to fill a tub with a 150-gallon capacity? So we read through it once, the word problem once. Now we're going to go in and start writing notes down, figuring things out. So we know that the water runs from a pump at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. The tub that we're going to be filling up is a 150-gallon capacity. So what that's telling me when I think about this, we're going to fill up, or the pump is going to have water running out 1.5, why am I writing at 8? 1.5 gallons per minute, per 1 minute. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking that this is going to be a proportion. And what a proportion is, it just means that you're going to have two fractions that are equal to one another. So we're going to follow the same format on the other side. So we have gallons per minute. So we're going to have gallons as the numerator and minutes as the denominator on the opposite side of the equal sign. We know that the tub is 150 gallons. We don't know how long it's going to take to fill that. So again, proportion. That means one fraction equals another fraction. And when you have this, all you need to remember is kind of like cross multiplying, or some people might think of it as like, it does kind of look like a butterfly. You're going to be doing a butterfly. So you're going to circle that, and you're going to circle that. And then you're just going to be cross multiplying. So we're going to start with the 1.5 gallon. We're going to multiply that by question mark minutes. So I'm going to say that's going to be 1.5. And you can use an X. Some people use an X. I'm going to use a question mark for now. And that is going to be equal to 1 times 150. That gives us 150. So now we have to get this question mark. This is a question mark. I'm going to make this question mark a little bit better for you so you can understand. So the question mark needs to be on the side by itself. To do that, we have to divide both sides by 1.5. So 1.5 here. 1.5 here. This cancels out, so that just leaves question mark equals 150. So I need a little bit of space to do this math. So I'm going to erase some of these notes. And I'm going to put this question mark equals 150 divided by 1.5. And I need this bottom part so I can do the division. All right, so we have 1.5, and then we have that in the middle, and that's not going to look good. Let me make this a little bit smaller. All right, so we have 1.5 here. Now I have enough space. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by moving our decimal over because we have 1.5. We're going to move this decimal over here. That turns it into 15, but we also have to do it in the inside. So we need to move that decimal. And there is a decimal, imaginary decimal here. That's going to be a decimal point here. And you might get a calculator on the Accuplacer. If you don't, I'm just doing the long division just so that you see it. All right, so we know that 15, which we have 15 now, because we moved the decimal point over. 15 can't go into 1, so we put a 0 over the 1. 15 can go into 15. That goes in there once. 15 times 1 is 15. So then we subtract 15 from 15. We have to bring this down. And I don't know why this is still here. All right, 15 goes into 0 times. So we got 0. So we got 0, 0, 0. Bring that 0 down, and that gives you 0. So you end up with 100. And you can just get rid of this 0 right now. I usually go step by step so you know where these numbers come from, but the answer is going to be 100 or B. Number 10, another fun word problem. We're going to read through it once, and then the second time we're going to start taking our notes. The volume of a right rectangular prism is found by multiplying the length of the base by the width of the base by the height of the prism. A right rectangle prism has a volume of 30 cubic inches. If the height of the prism is 6 inches, what is the volume of the base of the prism? So it gave us a lot by not actually giving us a lot. So let's go ahead and look what's in here. So we need to find the volume or the area of the base. So it tells us what the volume is here. Volume of a rectangular prism found by multiplying length, base times the width by the height. So that's pretty much just telling me V, or volume, equals length times width times height. And we're going to put on the side some of the numbers it's given us. So it already tells us that the volume, V, is equal to 30. And does it give us a height? It tells us the height. So it tells us volume, and it tells us the height of the prism is 6 inches. So we know H is 6. All right. Cubic. Yep. All right. So it tells us a good deal of information. So one thing we need to find out is area. And if you know your equations, hopefully they'll be nice and give you the equation on your test. But if they don't, just know that area is equal to length times width. So because we know we have to find the area, all we have to do is fill in the numbers that we already have. So the numbers we already have, we have 30 here. That's equal to area, because area is lift times width, times, and we know the height is 6. So next what we need to do is get the area on the side by itself. And to do that, we need to divide both sides by 6. So 6 here, 6 here. And I'm going to go ahead and erase some of these notes up here that we don't need. So on this side, the 6 cancels out. So that leaves us with A equals 30. Change that color up. A equals 30 divided by 6. All right, so all we're going to have to do is divide 30 by 6. So 6, 30 here. Let me move that down a little bit. That's going to get in the way. So we have 6 divided by 30. 6 can't go into 3. We put a 0 over there. 6 can go into 30 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. And this works out perfect. So our area is going to be 5 inches, 5 square inches.